Well, Governor Cuomo was in Wilson today to update the state's effort to provide financial aid for flood-stricken neighbors along the Lake Ontario shore. Channel 2's Dave McKinley says the governor also continued his criticism of the binational commission that regulates lake levels.
The $55 million for affected homes, businesses, and municipalities is only about half of what the state legislature originally approved. Part of the reason the governor says he slashed the amount is that there's no evidence yet that much money is needed.
If the damages exceed the $55 million, I have no problem going back to the legislature and getting more money.
Residents here had early concerns with income eligibility thresholds as part of the original relief package. Most who can afford a home near the lake obviously exceeded that and feared the relief aid would do nothing for them. When we brought their concerns to him, the governor said that has since changed as well, with no income eligibility restriction if the damaged home is a primary residence.
Basically, you're wrong, factually. If it's your primary residence, there is no income limit.
Okay.
Well, they're wrong, but you repeated it. If you repeat something that's wrong, that means you're wrong.
Or maybe just confused because those same income eligibility guidelines that he says have been stricken are still listed on the state's flood relief website where people go to apply. Meanwhile, and for the first time, the governor said the state will seek additional assistance from FEMA, even though it's yet to be determined if the damage amounts here have met the threshold for federal assistance.
I want to make sure we count all the damages before we go to FEMA, and that'll be in the coming weeks. And I expect to meet the threshold. If we don't meet the threshold, it is very, very hard to get FEMA aid.
Without a waiver.
Right.
And while saying he has no doubt the heavy rains of this spring contributed to the problem, he continued to lay some of the blame at the feet of the International Joint Commission, the binational agency which regulates lake levels and which he says failed to act early enough to try and stem the tide of flooding.
So today we're calling on President Trump to replace those appointees on the IJC, put appointees who know what they're talking about, who know the Great Lakes, and he can do that immediately.
When we pointed out that erroneous information still exists on a state website, a member of Governor Cuomo's staff assured us that they would get right on it in terms of correcting it and clarifying it for all. In Wilson, Niagara County, Dave McKinley, Channel 2 News.